Here, first things first, let's talk some NBA. So many changes around the league this summer, including the Boston Celtics. Kyrie Irving and Al Horford left town, and they were replaced by Kemba Walker and Enes Kanter, who is joining us now. Good morning, Enes. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to see you. How are you?
Always good to see you guys.
We have a lack of height on the show, so it's nice to have
What are you cheesing about, Chris Carter?
This is in my dream. I thought I'd be doing the show. Of course, Jen and I have been fans from our previous life and everything. I could see us doing the show together.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is what Nick would look like if he was an athlete. No, for real. If I was doing a show with a real athlete, that's what he'd look like.
Oh, man, you're starting us off on a great foot. Thank you for taking the time.
And thank you for inviting me.
And if people don't know, I'll just be very brief on this. Enes and I had a colorful back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah, Nick runs his mouth too much, and dude told him, listen, bro, I'll come here and give you problems.
I'll come to New York and snatch you up. No, and then we spoke off Twitter a bit, and I think came to something of an understanding. We'll find out here in the next 10, 15 minutes. But I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, no,
it's very kind of you.
And you are doing some things that we really care about. Like, you are an athlete that has some tremendously high values and are trying to make an impact, especially back in your home country. And we like to be able to support you in the things that you stand for.
Thank you so much. Definitely.
All right, well, let's start with the reason you decided to wear that T-shirt. You were going to wear something else. You said, I'm going to wear this one.
So I asked actually the producer before the show, I was like, what should I wear? Should I dress up or should I, you know what, I'm just going to represent my team.
I like it.
I'm proudly representing the Celtics. Oh, shout out to all the Celtics fans out there.
So you're a Boston Celtic now. Talk about your draw to Boston, why you wanted to be there, and what your role is going to be with the team.
You know, after I got released from the Knicks, you know, I was always hearing this, you know, the team Boston Celtics, Boston Celtics. Well, I think when my, you know, the season over after, you know, with Portland, I was like, obviously Boston, one of the, you know, the best teams out there, organization, very well run. So I was like,
very well run.
When the clock turned 6 o'clock, you know, Danny Ainge called me. And I answered the phone because I talked to him before. So Danny Ainge called me. I was like, it was a deeper voice. I'm like, hello. He's like, hello, Enes. He's like, who's this? He's like, oh, this is Kemba. So Kemba called me from Danny Ainge's phone. Well, he didn't want to give me his number first. I was like, he might not come with the Celtics. So I don't want to give him my number. So like, dude, I was like, dude, why are you calling from his phone? I was like, oh, so, you know, we want you here very bad. You know, we'll be very nice to just come here and let's do it. I'm like, you know, I think as a leader, he was in my draft class. I watched him years and years. I know how good of a leader and how good of a player he is on and off the court. So I'm like, I think it'll be very special. And,
so Kemba was the biggest draw?
He was definitely one of the biggest reasons. Definitely one of the biggest. Of course, obviously the fans and then the, you know, TD Garden and then, you know, I'm really big fan of Mark Wahlberg. So I was like, yes, very big fan.
Mark, I love it.
I'm actually going to hang out with his brother tonight.
Donnie.
Donnie, yeah.
Very
so I'm
nice.
very excited about him too. So that was one of the biggest reasons.
That's very cool.
Now, you've only been there, and the atmosphere in Boston, everyone just says Kyrie's in Brooklyn now, everything. What's been your sense being around the guys, playing some pickup, talking to guys? What's the sense of this team moving forward post Kyrie Irving?
Moving forward, I will say first thing I look at that team, look at that organization is like the first thing comes to my mind is family. Because from the day one, they opened their arm, give me a warm welcome. I actually got the chance to meet with some of the players like Jaylen Brown, Taco, the big Taco, Gordon Hayward, and of course Kemba. And obviously they're all good guys, willing to learn. I think we have something really special. I feel like, you know, we can definitely, you know, shock the world.
Okay, so let's talk about what I've talked about on Twitter for you, which is your offensive numbers at every step have been unbelievable.
Yes.
You're an excellent rebounder, an excellent scorer. The problem for you has always been on the defensive end. For the Celtics, this is when they were at their best a couple years ago, even with the injuries, that was a great defensive team. Not a good defensive team, a great defensive team. I have a ton of respect for Kemba Walker, and I've talked about your offensive side of the court. Kimba's undersized, struggles on that end. We've talked about your issues there. How will that point guard center defensive combination work? And as a follow-up, what are you doing to try to get better in that area of deficiency?
Well, I think, you know, defense is all about communication and trust. So I think all we got to do is just go out there and trust each other. And I think with, you know, the lead with Brad Stevens, and I think just going to go out there and just do it. I think, you know, like you said, you know, the defense was not my thing until I signed with Portland. But after I signed time at Portland, I had amazing players around me like Dame, CJ, Nurkic, all the guys, and I was like, you know, I felt so much comfortable and confident out there. And I think, you know, just with all this, you know, playing like really, really good players like Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, I think it's going to be way easier.
And to follow up real quick, to your credit, in the playoffs, that was the best defense you played in your career.
Yes.
And what was that playoff run like for you?
Well, it was, you know, the first round was amazing against, you know, the OKC, and then I separated my shoulder. So it got tougher because every after, you know, game I was getting shot with my shoulder. So it was just, for me, it was very painful. But I'm like, I cannot quit now. We came this so far. I'm not going to quit on my teammate in the organization. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it everything out there. You know, I was like, I understand it was my contract here. I was like, but you know what? This is definitely way bigger than the contract. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and just play as hard as I can.
Look, there were a ton of storylines, a lot of drama in the NBA last season. When it came to the Celtics, we talked so much about Kyrie Irving being sometimes the hero on that team, sometimes he was a bit of a cancer just because of the way he had relationships. Is there a sense just from the players you've spoken to so far that there's a bit of relief that you could take him out now and Brad Stevens can focus more on the system that he wanted to implement that may or may not have worked with Kyrie?
Well, I think so. You know, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, he's definitely obviously one of the best point guard in the league. And but I think I remember when I was with Portland, we came to play against Celtics. And I could feel that, you know, the chemistry just wasn't there. You know, the chemistry wasn't there. There was like a negative energy. But I think, you know, and I think now all we got to do is just stay together and just to keep focusing on what we need to focus and just go out there and just go out there, have fun. And I think, you know, Kemba is a really good leader. I'll definitely pick Kemba any day over Kyrie.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Kemba. He's with a handful, I'm talking about spectacular players that you've played with in your journey around the league. Last year with Dame there, we know that you played with KD and with Russ there in OKC, Kristaps in New York.
Yep.
I know most players that are playing, they never want to say, okay, who's the best player, because it might speak negative towards another player. Just give me some of the positive things. I believe Kevin Durant's the best player you ever played with, but give me some of the positives about Damian and Russ that you would be able to make a case for them, and potentially Kristaps. We're looking forward to seeing him in Dallas.
Well, I'll say Russ was the best player I played with. But,
okay.
But well, I think this players like, you know, Russ and Dame. Well, I haven't played with Kemba yet. I'll put him there too. These players are make himself better, make everybody else better around him. That's what make him really special. And you know, a lot of people just criticize Russell's game and everything, but they don't know how good of a player he is on the court, and they do know how good of a player he is, but at the same time, he's an amazing personality and character off the court. He was, I will say, not just the best player, best teammate I had. Off the court.
A lot of people say that about Russ, and because he's so intense, people perceive it as something different.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what like I wanted to tell the whole world. Like, I mean, he's actually a really chill dude, really good dude. Like he was like I said again, he was the one definitely that helped me the most.
Give me a story off the court of Russ that people don't know about, stuff that players don't want out there, but give us a story of an experience that would change the narrative for a guy like him.
I mean, it's just a regular, I mean, he drinks Snapple, eats gummy bears on a plane, he plays 2K. He's just another chill dude. He opened up 9 book clubs. Oh yeah,
really?
I don't know if many people knows that. He opened up 9 book clubs around America. I mean, like I said again, he's actually he's a jokester. He jokes a lot. He doesn't really, because you look at him on the court, he is this like mean guy, get under people's skin.
Focused.
Yeah, so focused and yells and get texts, but off the court he's a total different guy.
What made you say, I mean, Chris didn't even ask it and you wanted to get it in, that Russ is the best player you've played with, when I think most people would think it's Kevin Durant? Oh,
Kevin Durant is, obviously is up there too. He's probably like, I mean, he's obviously one of the top 5 players. But I think, you know, like I said again, not just on the court, I look at the off the court stuff too. You know, so I think we were just a better team. I built a better chemistry with Russ. And if you ask a lot of the OKC guys, they will say the same thing. They build a better chemistry with Russ.
Yes, go ahead, mess it up. Hold on, put him on camera. Go ahead. Be careful. Go ahead, mess it up. Is it fake or real?
This actually looks real, but I've been watching the show for 3 years. And like, there's like, is getting longer, and you got the
That's
middle
how hair
stage.
grows.
That was the worst.
You got the middle stage. I'm like, what is this? Is it like
Yep.
wearing a wig?
No.
That middle
It's like,
stage
this
was
is the
pretty
weirdest thing
bad.
ever.
Yeah, man, but you said it gets
It
longer.
feels,
That's how hair grows.
actually feels real. America.
it
It
is
does
real.
feel
That's the trick, man.
What do you mean that's the
It
trick?
feels real, bro.
Okay, you know what?
That and his height.
Oh
Dude,
I
my
was
feel like
5'8".
Trump right now. You can pull it. It don't matter. I mean, what do you want from me?
Thank you, bro.
Before we get out of show, I got a surprise for Nick.
Oh.
And, yeah, I got a little surprise for Nick.
Surprise.
And, I know he hates
I love surprises.
the Celtics, but I want to give him I want to give him a
That's what I'm talking
jersey.
about.
Oh, show it to the
Everybody,
camera there.
all
There we go.
America. I made this
man.
actually
That's
last night. I
it's
wanted to
great.
do this.
That is.
You got it right.
Wait,
So
did you go
if
to the
they-
NBA store and do this?
I made it just for you.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
If we make it to NBA Finals, I want you to wear this and cheer for us.
Listen, hey, it's going to be hard for me to ever cheer for the Celtics. I will cheer for you from now on.
My
Can
man,
you do
it
me
means
one
a lot
favor
to me.
before we go?
Yes.
She's going to ask you to Danny Ainge.
Can you just please tell
She has a
Danny
crush on
that
Danny
I say
Ainge.
hi? We've had just about every Celtic
I got
on
his
here.
number.
He has not even
Yes.
acknowledged my existence. So just
For
a
30
hello
years.
would be amazing.
Danny Ainge.
Thank you.
There you go.
Enes
You
Kanter,
heard it.
right here. We really
Great job,
appreciate your
brother. Man,
time.
thank you so
look.
much.
There
Look at
you
that.
go. That was the
Look.
best.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Much
That's
more
the
right after
that's the
this.
middle stage.